everyone. Welcome to Astro Podcast. I am Jody Shirami. This is a weekly astrology report, and this is for May 10th through May 17th. Welcome. This week, compared to last week, is explosive. Last week it was volatile. Things were moving around. Things were happening. But this week, kaboom. Things are not just happening, things are happening at an explosive level where we will not see it coming. There's so many things happening this week. And we're going to start off talking about the moon as it travels through the week and its meetup it has, and it's going to get combustible also. And then Mercury is getting right into the Taurus on the 15th. So we have a busy week, and a lot of the reason has to do with the moon, who is just a new moon, right? On the past week here, on the 7th. And now the moon today is in Gemini and just moved into Cancer. It's going to move into Cancer. The Cancer moon will rule over Saturday and Sunday on Mother's Day here in America Saturday. So happy Mother's Day to my own mom in Thailand. I will see you very soon, mommy. Mama, kun mae. Kun mae, kun mae. So that would be a beautiful weekend with Cancer here. But again, Cancer is very emotional. So expect a lot of moms to be very emotional. And maybe you yourself will be emotional with your mom. And it'll be a beautiful day. I believe we're going to have a nice dinner. So I'll share some of that on Instagram over the weekend. Show you guys what I did. And as the moon leaves Cancer on Monday, that's when the explosion begins. So on Monday the 13th, the moon heads into Leo. And when the moon heads into Leo, we're going to feel much more what we're feeling personally, because the sun rules over our personal wants and needs, because it's our core thing that we need to survive. And then the moon here is something that we need, we want. So I want to talk a little bit more about the Gemini moon as it shifts into Cancer today before I get into Monday about the Leo moon. The Gemini moon on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, really gave us a preview of what's to come at the end of May. It's beginning to give us signals about Gemini, because Gemini is the next recipient of Jupiter's good fortune. It's going to move into there on, let me see, yes, into Jupiter moves in Gemini on May 23rd. Okay? So the moon gave us a little bit of a hint of what it's going to be. And if you didn't notice, this week moved by quite quickly. Even with a new moon, the energy was so quick as it shifted into Gemini, because the moon is still dark as it starts to get ready to be full in Sagittarius next week, which we can get to. Right now, the moon's kind of starting to shine its light, and it's in Gemini, and so we get to see that communication is going to be a huge part of what's going to happen during Gemini season, because as you see, there's a lot of talks going on, there's a lot of rebellious talk going on, there's a lot of information coming in that is so profound, so many things happening. So with this energy, we got a little bit to taste it, and there are a lot of things happening with exactly the mundane things in the world, how the world is trying to heal itself through peace talks. And like I spoke of last week, I said I doubt if any of these things would happen because the opposition was so strong, and that's what happened. Israel did not accept Hamas's whatever they wanted, and it's going to go on, and they're not going to make any concessions right now with the sun's in Taurus, which is very stubborn. So the sun will be entering Gemini on the 20th, which is next week also. And we'll start to see with the moon what it showed us the past 2 days, and how we're very not willing to help Israel. America, USA is not willing to help Israel Rafah. And so that's part of the breaking down of peace talks, is that Israel is very stubborn right now, and is feeling quite vengeful, and everyone understands no one wants to be attacked. We get that. But a lot of stuff's going to be spilling out, and that'll be happening next week, and you'll see a lot of things will be coming out. And so now that it's in Cancer, the Cancer moon gave us a chance to be emotional after what we've heard in the news. Because don't forget, the moon rules over the collective. Because we feel the moon the most as together. As the sun represents the self, the moon represents the collective, and the moon is super happy in Taurus. That's why this new moon was completely exalted, because the moon's exalted in Taurus where Venus lives, and Venus was also here, Jupiter, Uranus, all in Taurus. So all these things that are happening with good luck and everything in Taurus is really going to be affecting our values, and our values usually mean what we want, money, what we covet. And Taurus is very stubborn here and very focused on attaining comfort and wealth if they can get that too. So a lot of Taurus people are very well off. They're very practical with their money. So they always have a house, always have a car, always can take care of all those things. They'll work hard for all of that. So how is there going to be a revolution here in Taurus season with all these things happening? It's not going to happen during Taurus season. Everything during Taurus season is about stability and being stubborn, and no, I'm not going to accept your compromise. I'm not going to accept it. And that's stubborn bull. Taurus. They're not going to give in. Okay? And so now let's head on to after this weekend. This weekend would be pretty quiet in terms of the Cancer moon over a weekend. We usually make us feel that thing that we all want with nurturing, be at home, gives us a chance to slow down, focus on our family, focus on our house, focus on things that matter to us with the Cancer moon and the Taurus sun. This combination is a nurturing, loving mother feeling. So it's the perfect weekend for Mother's Day. I'm personally excited because my moon's in Pisces and it's compatible with Cancer. Okay, so now I've kind of set up a little bit of what the moon's doing here and having all these meetings. Let's talk about Monday. The moon shifts into Leo, and Leo again is ruled by the sun. So the moon isn't super relaxed in Leo because the moon is not as aggressive and needing attention. The moon would rather give its attention to someone else instead of drawing attention on themselves. And so the moon is not super happy in Leo, but because the sun is in Taurus, where the moon loves to be, and the sun and the moon here together are going to help us feel happy, even though it appears like it's not going to be happy. It's going to be a good time. So at 23 degrees, the sun, who is in Taurus, is now meeting up with Uranus. So this is why Monday with the Leo moon is very explosive. Because Leo, again, is royalty and fixed. And the moon here will love everything Taurus loves, which is comfort, wealth, money, all these things. And the sun is going to meet up with Uranus first, and now Jupiter's carrying the essence of that meeting through, because Jupiter moves quicker than Uranus. Uranus takes 84 years to go around the sun, so about 7 years in each sign. So Uranus is close to leaving in 2 years. And so Venus, who's also in Taurus, is going to have a meeting with Saturn during this exact same time, a nice little meeting. And so because of this volatile nature of the sun and Uranus connecting at 23 degrees, it's going to be explosive in terms of the Taurus sun. Like I said, is very stubborn. And Uranus, like I said, is not comfortable in Taurus. Neither is Jupiter. Taurus is too slow for them. They want action. Uranus is the surprise jock. It zips, it does things, and Uranus also, when you look at Uranus, the astrologers say that it's on its side. It's not even sitting up like the Earth. It's like on its side, like this, spinning around us. I mean, around the sun. And so Uranus is where that saying comes from. Looks like things have gone sideways, right? So with the sun meeting up with the sideways spinning planet here, things could go sideways, meaning Uranus comes in and brings things that we can't expect, can't know. It's a surprise, and that's what it's known for. It's going to be volatile, especially with the sun in Taurus being very stubborn, getting ready to head out and meet up with Jupiter in a couple of days. The sun here has a lot of energy and a lot of things that in Taurus it's very stubborn. Very, very stubborn. Will not budge. Uranus says you have to budge. And the sun says, no, why? I'm the sun. Uranus says it doesn't matter. It's not about you. Because the sun is about you, about the individual. Uranus is about the people because he rules over Aquarius. And Aquarius rules over all things that have to deal with groups of people and how we work together, which means governments, a huge bank, how they work in a bank that's ruled by Saturn and Capricorn. But Aquarius has to go in there and make that structure work with a group of people. Aquarius, I'd say, would rule over what do you call it? Unions. Unions. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people have been wanting to unionize since Pluto's moved into Aquarius, and expect a lot more of that to happen. As you can see, also the WNBA for the female and female basketball, pro basketball players, things have all gotten completely lit up for them with Taurus and Venus, and all this love for feminine energy is there. So it's huge. See, I'm speaking so fast. I'm so excited. And that's Uranus wanting you to speak faster and do things quicker, but at a steady clip. And then the other thing that's happening is that the Venus Saturn conjunction helps to, as Rick Levine says it, to kind of buffer this Sun Uranus boom. And believe it or not, Saturn and Venus are going to stabilize that. And Saturn's in Neptune, and Saturn rules over Capricorn, right? And Venus is in Taurus, where she is at home, where she rules over. And again, Venus is exalted in Neptune, in Pisces, I mean. So Venus and Saturn meeting up with Saturn right near Neptune, that's why Saturn can help everyone kind of calm down, because Saturn has also been going through a change in Pisces. And now he's getting ready to meet up with Neptune pretty soon, and then shift into Aries. And when that happens, whoo, okay? So a lot of these things that are happening has to do with the moon moving around, and every time the moon moves, it's going to meet up with those power players that I spoke about last week. But this week, it's not just the moon. Like I said, the sun's meeting up with Uranus, and Venus is meeting up with Saturn. The sun meeting up Uranus leads us up to May 18th, when the sun will conjunct Jupiter. So 5 days later, after meeting up with Uranus, having a little powwow about what's happening, how we're going to move forward, our plans, what are your ideas? 5 days later, on the 18th, the sun conjuncts Jupiter. And now, as Rick Levine says it, they have to figure out the right way to grow. So with all these new ideas, all these new happenings, with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful new moon in Taurus, having all of its friends there with them, with it, while it was in Taurus, where the moon is, really loves being here. It's kind of exalted here. The moon's exalted here because it's so happy here. Because the moon, of course, is our needs. And what do we need? We need food, which Venus provides for us here. We need nice things to be able to, not live outside. And Venus provides that for us also. And Venus provides money for us through work. So the moon likes it here. So after all this beautiful meeting, we have to figure out what it is we're going to do as a collective. Are we going to head into World War III? Or can we understand that there always will be disagreements, just like you have in your family? Some families can get along and say things to each other, and everybody gets it. They forgive, they understand, they have empathy. Other families, no, no. And if you're a mutable sign and you have siblings that are fixed signs, that's the beginning of some really nasty fights you can get into, believe me. So here we go, right? So how do we amend all this with Taurus here? The moon's in Leo. Now by this time it's happening, the moon is going to get ready to move on. It's in Virgo or Libra. It's in Libra now. So what are we going to do? And so that's what they have to have a powwow about. But before that happens on the 18th, like I said, Mercury's going to move into Taurus. And now the way we speak, the way we think, the way we plan, the way we run our lives mentally are going to be fixed. So now that Mercury is in Taurus, the fixed sign of Taurus, the way we communicate will be very blunt, to the point, and stubborn. Most likely will not change. If someone has Mercury here in Taurus, they are very good at keeping their word. They won't change their word, which is good and bad because they're not going to change their mind, which is good. If you want that person to tell you the truth, they probably will tell you the truth. So that's a good part of it, right? The bad part of it is when you have a new thing you need to do or you have to do something to evolve, they can be stubborn. So now we got the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, all in stubborn Taurus. So this whole week, I looked at the Destiny cards, which is by Robert Camp. If you want to know that, he's at seventhunders.com. Robert Camp. All the cards next week are diamonds. Today is a 9 of diamond. By the time we come back, it'll be the 2 of diamond, which is my ruling card. And the 2 is the number of Taurus. Taurus is the second house in the zodiac wheel because the first one's Aries. So number 1, the aces are related to Aries. Number 2s are related to Taurus. So that's where we're at right now. We're at number 2, Taurus, and we'll be back on the 17th at number 2 of diamonds. And the 2 of diamonds is a win-win situation where you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You rub my back, I'll rub your back. So it's going to take us all week from 9 of diamonds, changing of our values, to going to Cancer, the 8 of diamond, the Sun card, which also has to do with our home. So there's a lot of diamond energy going on, and diamonds relate to the suit of pentacles in the tarot. Diamonds are adults. They're the old people of the deck. They come in, they're born, they're like the people you say, oh, you are an old soul in that body. You can see in a baby, in a 2-year-old, especially when they start talking and kind of expressing themselves, you can see an old soul. You can look in their eyes. Some babies, their eyes are just looking at you and you're like, well, what do you want to say to me? I just love babies and little kids and all kids and all adults too. But anyways, so we're going to be dealing with our values as the moon shifts and all these big planets have this meeting. Another big meeting I want to talk about is that Mars on the 15th, after Mercury enters Taurus, Mars prepares to meet up with the Aries North Node. So remember, the North Node has to do with our destiny, what it is we're here to go towards, so that we can be successful and happy in our lives if we're going towards our goal, our fate, what it is we're here for. So Mars is preparing to go towards the Aries North Node. That's going to be another big kaboom. And while that's happening, the Leo moon will be squaring the sun in Taurus when Mercury enters Taurus. So again, we're going to have a lot of stubbornness, a lot of unwavering opinions. But Mercury here will be very say how it is, very plain, very practical. There'll be not a lot of, flowery words here, But again, Taurus is a lover. So Taurus in this way can also be very sweet and kind in Mercury and very accommodating. With all these diamond cards coming up, these people are also adults, so they don't want to be told what to do. So make sure you don't tell anyone what to do next week because it won't turn out well. And that's another big warning for this week that is explosive. It is awareness, awakening, and not everyone can ride that wave before just falling off the surfboard, not even be able to stand up. So understand that even though you might think that someone is aware and you say things to them in a way that they can't handle it, it can get bad and you might not be able to take it back because this is a fixed permanent thing with Pluto involved and Uranus and Jupiter. And Jupiter's going to exacerbate all that talk. And Jupiter's getting ready to leave, so Jupiter's getting ready to head out and move into the sign of communication. So with Mercury and Taurus, our communication is going to really, really matter a lot this month. So really watch your words, what you say. And if you think you said something wrong, just explain it again. Just say it again. Just really, really watch your words this week. And then let's see, on the 17th, Mercury in Taurus now is going to square Pluto in Aquarius. So it begins. 2 days after it gets into Taurus, it's going to be at that degrees of 2 degrees at Pluto and have a big square. And a square, again, is a box that you're in and you're bouncing around in that box. And you want to get stuff done, but you can't find the door, can't see the light. You can't get out of this box. It's funny, but it's not funny. I just enjoy making sounds when I do stuff. So, how are you going to get away from this? This is what I'm talking about. Beware. I wrote down beware. I want you to beware. Rick Levine says this is like opening Pandora's box. And if you don't know what Pandora's box is, it is a story. I can't remember if it's Greek or Roman. But Pandora is a box that she has put things into. Pandora's box. You open it up. What's in there? You just don't know. And that's why you have to be extra, extra careful this week as Mercury prepares to meet up with Pluto again. It's a heavy feeling in my heart when I think of it. It's heavy feeling. It's like saying something, or it's like having a rock on your chest when you say something you shouldn't say, and now Pluto's there, and Pluto's like, no, don't do it. Okay, don't do it. And then Saturn in Pisces is going to have a little baby square, not as big and explosive, just a little tiny explosion with Mercury in Taurus. So at this time, Mercury is going to have a big square with Pluto and a mini square with Venus and Mars. So, it's going to be crazy, especially Mars is involved, and Mars is in Aries, and Pluto's involved in this situation on the 17th. And that leads us back to the 18th, right? And the 18th is the Monday. 18th is that Saturday that's behind us on. So that ends our week on the 17th. Very explosive week. It's a diamond week. It's an adult week. It's a no time to talk bullcrap week. It's like, say it like you mean it. What's the truth? Don't lie. If you lie, you're going to get caught this week. Bye, Pluto. Boom. Okay, so it's very important to keep an eye on all the things that are happening in the world, because these are collective things happening with the moon making all these aspects. The Leo moon making things happen. Okay, and as we head into the Virgo moon, will become much more calmer and more mutable in our values in some ways, which will help, because the sun in Taurus is so fixed. The moon being in Virgo will help us be a little bit more mutable, because the moon in Leo is also fixed. So here we go. So then the 17th, so we just have like a huge thing of every day. Things can happen. I mean, the weekend is the only time that seems like we're going to be a little calm, but there's stuff happening this weekend also that will involve the outer planets kind of talking to each other a little bit more. And it's really difficult to explain how explosive this week is going to be. If you saw and listened at all last week to my podcast, you saw that this week was exactly how the astrologers have predicted it to be, which was chaotic. How much more chaos can it get? How much more chaotic can it get? It can get a lot more chaotic, because we're sitting in our house and we're okay with food right now. But today, recently, the stock markets have also been going crazy. And food is one of the things that people are worried about right now. And there is starvation closing in on the Gaza Strip. UNICEF said they have about 6 weeks before it becomes completely famine, and that'll be it. So we're dealing with so many things right now in unprecedented times. I'll say it again. And times that are very eccentric also, where things are happening that we've never seen happen. And now we can kind of interpret what whales are saying to each other underwater. And I would love to know that. And I saw a orangutan story where it healed itself with a leaf, putting it on its face, healed its whole sore that it had, and healed it. Understand that animals know more than we know. Plants know more than we know. So let's get it together with this diamond week of pentacles. Pentacles being the highest suit in the tarot, diamonds the same. And being a diamond born myself, it's been my life to always look for value and understand what is useful and what's not. And that is something we can all do ourselves. And it's not hard, you just sometimes you don't need that. God bless us. And we can see all these things happening to people. And we wouldn't be aware if we didn't have social media and internet. But we do have it. We do know. And we can't erase it once we see it. Okay? So really, really pray for peace and for the students not to fight each other. And you can defend yourself, but it doesn't mean you can kill everyone that's in your way. So really, really think about all these things. I know it's really deep, but it's a really explosive week. I really want you to understand it's a good time to, when you get a little upset, just go sit down and just go by yourself. Like I've taught my youngest, because he has 3 older brothers who, want to tell him what to do. And he's all diamonds. He's an adult, born an adult. Me and him have had conversations. He was 2 or 3 about all kinds of things. So I just say, just go sit in your room, because, they're just trying to help you. They're your brothers, they mean well. I said, it's okay, just that they love you. And then he comes out of the room and he's fine, and he'll say something and I'm like, but that's how to handle when you get angry. Go and have a reflection time. That's what they used to do in school. They called it reflection. When you got bullied or you were the bullier, you were the bully, go get reflection time. It's like, I hope you understand reflection means meditation. Think about what you did and why and how you can change it. I do that all the time. Things happen. I burn my hand or something and think, oh my God, why did I do that? How did I do that? What was I thinking about? So being very mindful is the secret to having a balanced, happy, loving life. You can get angry, you can be disappointed in things, that's very normal, but you don't have to lash out at other people for it. I'm not knocking any religion. I just can't imagine a God that will want you to kill each other, an eye for an eye. It's actually in the Bible, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, or something. I don't know, because I'm not a Bible reader. I've studied the Bible at University of Loyola. So I understand what the Western culture is based upon. I understand Buddhism. I grew up with Buddhism. I understand what the Eastern culture is based upon. I understand Islam. I've had some Islamic friends. I understand the culture. And all of them innately are about being good, about loving each other. And everyone existed for a long time together until greed came in. People wanted your spices, like in Dune. Dune 1, Dune 2, Dune 3 to come. I can't wait. And that's the year 10,000. So you can see it goes on and on and on. And that's with another planet of people you're fighting with. Now you're fighting another planet. So I can't say that fighting and war will ever stop, but I can say that you can control how bad it gets. It doesn't have to be a world war with a nuclear bomb. And all those children need food in Gaza. So really take it easy this week. Understand the potency of it. And really, I'll be back next week. And I check out my Instagram page. I write poetry there about the planets and how they're acting during certain times. And I will put out more things there next week because it's so potent. This energy is just it's just too hot. It's just too much to really wrap your brain around how much is going to happen next week. And if you don't believe me, we'll be back next week and we'll talk about it more. Okay? Thank you. Take care of yourself. Thank you for being here. I appreciate my followers. I really, really appreciate you. Okay? You make my day. Woo! Best. Okay. Thank you. Send lots of love and kisses.